Hi, folks. Good evening. Good evening, Jai Hind. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining over here with me in today's 2025 2 live question paper solving. Okay, right. So we are doing this AFCAT 2 2025, which was held on 23rd August, shift 1. So we get started over here with your verbal English. Okay, one word substitution they have asked. A person who has both introvert and extrovert qualities. Okay, it's not philanthropist. Okay, philanthropist is someone who does a lot of charity. Misanthrope is an opposite word of philanthropist. Altruist is someone who is very it's like philanthropist only, right? But it's slightly different from philanthropist, right? Okay, so the correct answer for the first question over here is your ambivert. Okay, malevolent is someone who is dishonest, someone who has ill feeling, right? And they have asked the opposite word over here. Then opposite word for this particular question is obviously benevolent, right? Okay, right. Vindictive means to hurt. Okay, V for vendetta, right? Okay, vindictive means to hurt, right? Okay, right. So someone who is very hurtful in nature, that is called as vindictive. Okay, right. Malicious, spiteful, again spiteful over here is your unkind and cruel. Okay, now idioms: to take, carry, or coal to Newcastle. Okay, right. So the correct answer for this question is to do something superfluous or unnecessary, because Newcastle itself is famous for coal mines, and why would you take coals over there, right? Okay, so that is why to do something superfluous or unnecessary over here is your correct answer. Okay, to throw up the sponge over here, the correct answer is not to insult an opponent, to hide one's true feelings, to celebrate a victory. The correct answer over here is to surrender or to give up a contest. Okay, right. So it comes from the old days of boxing bouts, when the coaches used to have those sponge in the break. They will go and pamper their athletes. Okay, right. But when his athlete has been beaten very very badly, and at that point of time he would throw the sponge into the ring so as to signal that, yeah, fine, okay, now the contest is over. Okay, one word substitution all over again: a person who is fearless and adventurous over here. Okay, so the correct answer over here is intrepid over here is your correct answer. Okay, right. Diffident means not having confidence in your own strength and abilities. Okay, right. Timorous, as the name itself suggests, it means timid or fearful or nervous. Okay, right. Pusillanimous means, again, it means lack of courage or weak. Okay, right. Appropriate synonym for quash. Okay, quash means to to rectify. Okay, I mean not rectify, I mean it means to nullify, right? It's the opposite is endorse. Again, substantiate means also to justify. Perpetuate means something that doesn't end. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is nullify over here. Okay, spot the error in the sentence: the two brother-in-laws attended the wedding ceremony together. No error. What do you guys think? You guys keep writing the answer in the chat box, please. Okay, right, 3 of you have joined, so please write down the answer in the chat, please. Okay, right, that is very very necessary. Okay, so the correct answer over here is the two brothers-in-law, right? Okay, it's not the brother-in-laws. Okay, that is the correct usage. So for question number 7, B over here is your correct answer. Okay, one word substitution: an act of violating or showing disrespect towards something that is sacred or holy, right? The correct answer over here is your sacrilege. Okay, right. Defamation means to to defame somebody, that is called false statement. Okay, right. Hearsay is also hearsay, sorry. Okay, that is the correct pronunciation. Okay, hearsay, right? Okay, hearsay means different religious opinion or belief. Okay, but it's not in a disrespectful way. It's a disrespectful way is your sacrilege. Okay, obviously you guys know about the meaning of discrimination. Okay, right? What is the synonym of cognoscenti? Okay, cognoscenti over here means someone who has a lot of knowledge about, let's say, beer, wine, food, etc., about, food, clothing, and etc., right? Okay, so novice obviously is not your correct answer. Amateur again is not your correct answer. Layman is also not your correct answer. Connoisseur over here is your correct answer. Okay, right. Synonym for reckless, it is rash. Obviously you guys have got it right. Okay, right. So this is the passage over here right in front of you. Okay, right. This is the passage about your zero. I have already read it. Okay, but I would spend a bit of time. The concept of zero, often taken for granted, is modern mathematics is a relatively recent intellectual achievement in the long history of human civilization. While ancient cultures like Babylonians, okay, what is Babylonian? Okay, Babylonian is your present day of Iran is your Babylonia. Okay, used a placeholder looks like this. Okay, right, symbol to indicate an empty position in their sexagesimal. Okay, these guys have their, we have decimal system, they had like sexagesimal system. This was not equivalent to our modern notion of zero as a number. The true mathematical zero representing both nothingness and, see, this point is very, very important. The true mathematical zero which representing both nothingness, zero represents both your nothingness, but as well as you can use this zero in your addition, subtraction, multiplication, and etc. Okay, and functioning as an independent number with arithmetic properties was first developed in India around 5th century CE. The Indian scholar Brahmagupta, sometimes this question will come, who invented zero? You will think like, Aryabhatta and all that. That's the wrong answer. Okay, right? Brahmagupta formalized the rules for, if you have time, you can even download his books from, online libraries. Okay, right? Formalized rules for arithmetic involving zero, including addition, subtraction, and multiplication, though he struggled division with zero. So obviously when you do 0 by 0, right, okay, that is where the problem comes into the picture. Okay, and that is where Aryabhatta, this is another knowledge. Okay, sorry, Ramanujan came into the picture and he was asked, like, if you have 0 bananas and you want to distribute it with 0 of your friends, then how many each of them will get? Okay, so he answered that each one of them will get infinity of them. Okay, right. So yeah, think through it. Okay, it will sound very absurd to you, but do think through it. Okay, from India the idea spread to Islamic world, where scholars translated and expanded upon the Indian text, integrating zero into Arabic numeral systems. The Arabic term sifar, okay, meaning empty, eventually evolved into the word zero in European language. By the 12th century, with translation of Arabic mathematical works into Latin, zero entered European thoughts, profoundly transforming mathematics, commerce, and science. Zero's adoption met resistance in Europe. Why? It was considered mysterious and even dangerous, partly because it was linked to Arabic culture, and partly because its abstractions defied common sense. Okay, its abstractions defined common sense. Yet, once fully accepted, zero became indispensable, enabling advancements in algebra, calculus, eventually modern computing. Thus, what began as a humble placeholder evolved into a cornerstone of human intellectual progress. Okay, right? So let's do a few of the questions. We have 4 questions over here. The Babylonians' use of zero was primarily as what? Okay, right? It was primarily used as a placeholder in the positional notation. Okay, right? Who is credited with the formalizing the arithmetic rule for zero? Brahmagupta. Okay, the word zero in European language, okay, right, in European languages evolved from Arabic sifar, which is given. Okay, resistance to zero in medieval Europe was due to lack of translation of Indian text, its association with Arabic culture, and abstract nature. Okay, abstract means philosophy. Okay, write about number 7. So that is your philosophy. Okay, so for example, According to the passage, Zero's acceptance was crucial in the advancement of geometry and trigonometry, algebra, calculus and computing, astronomy and architecture, literature and philosophy. Obviously, algebra, calculus and computing over here is your correct answer. Okay, right? So now this is a PQRS. India has been a land, right? India has been a land dash, right? Then you have P over here, okay? But in the sense that learning has always been very highly valued, not indeed in the sense that education has been universal, okay? And the learned man has been held in high esteem of learning through ages, okay, right? So India has been, so over here India has been a land, so obviously it will start over here with of learning through ages, okay, right? India has been a land of learning through ages, right? Okay, right? And the learned man has held in high esteem, okay, right? So S, after S, which one is possible, okay, right? We don't have R, so we go back to Q over here, right? But in the sense that learning has always been valued, okay, right? Now it is saying over here, okay, in the sense, not indeed in the sense that education has been universal, okay, but in the sense, right? So Q and P has to come together, okay, right? So after S, Q should come and P should come and R is supposed to come, okay, right? So D over here is your correct answer, okay. So now we reach question number 17 over here, okay. Let me just zoom in over here, okay. While the recent rain may have, right, soothed the concern, century shows that the June rainfall is of a drought. India's rainfall data for over a, right, no predictor of the monsoon outcome, okay. So while the recent rain may have soothed concerns, okay, right, while the recent rain may have soothed the concern, okay, right, concerns of drought, okay, India's rainfall data for over a century, right, so that June rainfall is no predictor of the monsoon outcome, okay. RQPS over here is your correct answer, folks, okay. For some people, patriotism, right, today man belongs to the whole world, should be condemned because type of patriotism is an evil and it means hatred for other countries. But this, okay, for some people patriotism means hatred for other communities, okay. So it should start with S. We have only one single option over here, okay, right? But this type of patriotism is an evil, right? And it should be condemned because today man belongs to the world, okay, right? Man is belonging to the all over world, okay, right? So now you have to tell, if bee is related to honey, how is cow related to, okay, right? So cow is related to obviously your milk, okay. Oven is to bake, so knife is to easily, over here you got slice over here. If finger is to hand, right, then what do you think about leaf is to what, okay. If finger is to hand, right, if finger is to hand, then leaf is to what, okay. If finger is to hand, right, you got your fingers, right? Fingers are the part of your hand and hand is the part of the body, okay. So plant and tree is not your correct answer. The correct answer over here is your branch, okay, right? Spot the error over here. Question number 22, 23, 24, right? How do you guys spot the error over here, right? 10 kilometers are a long distance to walk on foot, okay. 10 kilometers is a long distance to walk on foot, yeah. Tell me, write down the answer in the chat, folks. Yeah, write down your answers in the chat, boys. Okay, 10 kilometers are, right? 10 kilometers are. The error over here is in this. Okay, 10 kilometers is plural, is singular. Okay, right? You are denoting over here 10 kilometers, right? So it is used in a singular sense. Okay, neither of the students have completed. Okay, over here also neither, either, somebody, everybody. Okay, the usage over here is singular. Okay, so B over here is a correct answer. Okay, she did not know to whom should she address the letter. Okay, she did not know. Okay, right? She did not know to whom should she. The whom should she. Okay, whom she should. Sorry. Okay, right? She did not know. She did not know to whom she should. Okay, right? That is a correct usage. So obviously you got over here in error over here in your B option, right? Okay, right? Now you have fill in the blanks over here. Okay, right? The judge remained completely dash while giving his verdict. Okay, the judge remained completely dash while giving his verdict. Okay, obviously it's not emotional biased or hesitant. The judge remained completely impartial while giving his verdict. Okay, right? Hardly does the train left the platform when it began to rain heavily. Okay, the correct usage over here is hardly had the train left. Okay, right? That is your correct usage over here. Okay, right? So now the next question: during his visit to museum, he dash some rare paintings. Okay, came across, came by, came out, and came into. Okay, right? Obviously the correct answer over here is your came across. Okay, right? Okay, came across means to find something by chance. Okay, came by means to visit someone. Okay, to visit someone. Came out means to appear or to publish. Okay, right? Came into action. Okay, right? That's the usage over here. Okay, right? Now question number 28 to 30. Right? Now question number 28 to 30. Most of our food comes from agriculture, so we tend to believe that it is independent of natural biota. This is not true. In nature, both plants and animals, both plants and animals had been continuously subjected to, will be continuously subjected to, continuously subjected, are continuously subjected. Over here is your correct answer, because we are trying to denote some facts over here. Okay, so if we, when we want to denote certain facts over here, it has to be done in the present tense. Okay, consequently wild populations have numerous traits for competitiveness. Okay, right? Wild aspects, wild flowers, wild crops have numerous traits like competitiveness, resistance to parasites, and dash. Okay, to adverse conditions and other aspects of vigor. Okay, right? So what do you think over here? Okay, so wild plants, they have the traits for competitiveness, resistance to parasites, right? And withdrawal, no, right? That is not the correct usage. Okay, right? Okay, adaptable to, right? When you write down adaptable and listen to that. Okay, right? Okay, adaptable to adverse condition. Okay, compliance to the adverse condition. Okay, right? Tolerance to the adverse condition. Okay, right? Okay, traits for competitiveness, resistance to parasites, and tolerance. Okay, right? Tolerance to adverse condition and other aspects of vigor. In contrast, populations grown for many generations under pampered conditions of agriculture tend to lose these traits because they are selected for production, not resilience. For example, a high producing plant that lacks resistance to drought is, okay, right? So a high producing plant which is resistance to drought, okay, which is already resistance to drought, then what you are doing, you are irrigating over there. Okay, is resistance to drought is ignored, also in the process of breeding plants for maximum production. All genetic variation is eliminated. Okay, so this with this we are done with. Okay, I think with this we are done with this English portion. Okay, so now let's just get started with your GK, the languages used in encryption of Ashoka. Okay, you will very much confused with Pali, right, or Sanskrit. These are not the correct answer. So as to have the mass audience, Ashoka wanted his encryptions to be written in Prakrit, because at that particular time people were able to understand the Prakrit language. In fact, there were other languages as well, right? Okay, Kharoshti, right, which were also used to write his inscriptions. Okay, right. Now consider the following statement regarding the Nidhi scheme. The scheme was launched in 2014 by the Minister of Human Resource and Development. Okay, which is the wrong answer. Okay, it was implemented and started by Department of Science and Technology. 4 over here is a correct answer. Okay, right. It aims to support higher education institution to set up startup. Yes. Okay, through incubation and innovation. The full form of Nidhi is National Initiatives for Developing and Harnessing Innovation. Yes, that is absolutely correct. Okay, 2, 3, 4 is correct. The Rail One app, if you guys are going to SSBs and all, I'm sure you must be using this app. Okay, was launched by Indian Railways in 25 primarily to provide passengers with single window platform for integrated service, replace IRCTC e-ticketing website completely, facilitate only freight and cargo tracking, operate as an exclusive platform for railway staff communication. No, all of these are wrong answer. 33, the correct answer is A over here. Okay, right. Now they are asking General Bipin Rawat, the first Chief of Defence Staff CDS of India, was commissioned into which of the regiment of Indian Army? Okay, everyone knows that. Okay, General Bipin Rawat belonged to none other than your Gorkha Rifles. Okay, right. Which of the following is primarily cause of acid rain? Okay, right. So acid rain happens because of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide. Okay, that is why when you will hear that many a times our parents will tell that, okay, whenever it is raining for the first time, don't go out in rain, because that is called your acid rain. Okay, all the things that burn, okay, right, it reacts with the water vapor, water droplets present in the atmosphere, and it comes out over here in the form of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide. Okay, right. Which Indian writer was awarded with the International Booker Prize for the year 2025? The correct answer over here is Bhanu Mushtaq. Okay, right. Bhanu Mushtaq over here is a correct answer. Okay, and she was a Kannada writer. Okay, Kannada writer, and she has got a collection of a story, and that's the name of that is Heart Lamp. Okay, Heart Lamp. Okay, because of that she got the Booker Prize. Okay, International Booker Prize, and she was the first Kannada author to receive this International Booker Prize. Okay, exercise Pralay. Okay, exercise Pralay was carried out by none other than your Indian Armed Force, Indian Air Force. Okay, this was done in accordance with the your Indian Army as well, in the forward basis of LAC, line of actual control, which is along with the Chinese people. Okay, yeah. All right, so now one more defense question over here. Project 75 under which India is constructing Scorpion class submarine is executed by which of the company? HAL, right? HAL creates aircrafts. Okay, BEL does Bharat Electronic Limited. They manufacture equipments for Indian Army mainly. Okay, right? So obviously you will have doubts with either Mazgaon Dockyard Shipyard Limited, Dock Shipyards Limited (MDL), or Garden Reach Shipyards and Engineers Limited. You will have only these two doubts. Okay, in fact, the correct answer for this question over here is Mazgaon Dockyard Limited, and so far it has already given out your INS Kalvari, INS Khanderi, INS Karanj, INS Vela, and INS Wagir. Okay, all of these have already come into existence. Okay, right? Which rocket was used? Okay, because it is for the last year, so that's why you have is used in Axiom 4 mission. This is the same mission from which Shubhanshu Shukla was sent into the International Space Station along with 3 other astronauts. So obviously PSLV and GSLV is not your answer. Okay, Ariane 5 is not your answer. Falcon 9 block 5 over here is your correct answer, and in that you also had SpaceX satellite crew, okay, which was named as Grace. Okay, right? SpaceX satellite crew. Okay, he recently launched which among the following was the purpose of Operation Sindhu? Okay, Operation Sindhu, I'm sure you guys must be aware of this particular Operation Sindhu. It was done to safely evacuate Indians stranded in Iran, because last year what happened, that Iran and Israel started to fight the war. Okay, right? Because of that, and US joined them later because of Strait of Hormuz and stuff. Okay, right? So who established the Archaeological Survey of India? ASI was established by none other than your Sir Alexander Cunningham, that you can keep in mind. Okay, right? Now you have questions about the Daksh portal. Consider the following statement. The portal was launched by Reserve Bank of India. That is correct. Daksh stands for Reserve Bank's Advanced Supervisory Monitoring System. Again, this is correct. It is a web-based workflow application for monitoring compliance requirement of supervised entity. That is also again correct. Okay, so 42 answer is going to be your D. Okay, right? Now, what is the primary aim? What is the primary aim of 100 million, 400 million campaign launched in 2016? Okay, now your exam was in 2025, but they have asked something from 2016. Okay, right? To provide free meals. Okay, right? To provide free meals to 100 children worldwide, to mobilize 100 million youth, to support 100 million children denied of basic rights and freedom. Okay, right? B over here is your correct answer. To vaccinate, no. To build schools, that is also not your correct answer over here. Okay, who is known as the father of Lok Sabha? Right? G.V. Mavalankar. Okay, he was the first speaker of independent India. He is known as the father of Lok Sabha. Before even independence, he was the speaker of one of the state assemblies. Okay, I mean at that time I think that was like United Province. Okay, right? The working principle of washing machine. The working principle of washing machine is centrifugation. Okay, right? You know the centrifugal force, right? Centrifugal force, right? Okay, the centrifugal force when the washing machine rotates, right? If this is the axis, when the washing machine rotates, the dirt and water, it comes out through the holes in the drum. Okay, right? Cumulonimbus clouds are typically, okay, associated with which type of weather is what it is asking. It's not fair weather or drizzle or fog. It is about the thunderstorm, heavy rain, lightning, and etc. All of these are characteristics of your cumulonimbus clouds. Okay, right? Okay, now you have over here about this isotopes, right? Okay, right? Isotopes have the same atomic number but different mass number. This is very important for you guys. Okay, yes, that is correct. Isotopes have the same atomic number but different mass numbers. Okay, isobars have same number of neutrons but different atomic numbers. Okay, right? Okay, it is not isobars, it is not required for them to have same number of neutrons, but then their mass number has to be the same. Okay, right? What is the mass number? Right, mass number is your neutron plus proton. Okay, this number has to be the same for isobars. Okay, and it can have different atomic numbers. Yes, that is correct. That is why we are rejecting this option. Isotones have same number of neutrons but different atomic mass number. Okay, right? Atomic and mass number, which is correct over here, right? Isotope, isobar, isotones is very, very important from your exam point of view, which is your CDS and NDA as well. Okay, right? So 48 we go ahead with. B over here is your correct answer. Okay, the Pichora, right? Pichora surface to air missile system currently in service with Indian Air Force was originally developed by which of the countries? Okay, right? Okay, so Pichora over here was your missile. Okay, right? Okay, it is your surface to air missile, SAM missile, and it was developed by none other than your which one is targeting? Yep, okay, none other than your Russia. Okay, United States of Soviet Russia. Okay, Subroto Cup, you know Subroto Cup, it's your football tournament for your school going kids. Okay, even in Sainik schools we have this, whosoever wins the South Zone and Inter Zone, they represent the they represent their school in the Subroto Cup. It started in the year 1960 to in the remembrance of your the first chief of air staff, that is your Air Marshal Subroto Mukherjee. Okay, right? Who persuaded Mahatma Gandhi to come to Champaran to take up the cause of exploited indigo planters? Okay, I'm sure you guys must have learnt of this. Okay, that was called as Tinkathia system. Okay, Tinkathia system is in 1 bigha there is like 20 kattha. Okay, and out of this 20 kattha, the planters, they are supposed to, out of this 20, in 3 katthas they are supposed to cultivate indigo for sure, right? And after cultivation they have to give it to the Britishers. Okay, right? And indigo cultivation used to degrade the soil health, right, in a way that which was very much harmful and which could easily affect the produce. Okay, so Rajkumar Shukla was the person. He traveled all the way from Bihar to New Delhi on foot to request Mahatma Gandhi, that hey, you do the protest in Bihar. Okay, right? Okay, 17, 18 and 19. Okay, right? These numbers you should remember: Champaran, Kheda and Jallianwala Bagh. Okay, right? You should remember this in order. Okay, 17, 18, 19. Okay, that will help you. Okay, consider the following statement over here about this Diksha, right? Digital Infrastructure for Knowledge Sharing Scheme, right? It is a national platform developed by Ministry of Education to provide digital resource for school education. Yes, that is your correct answer. Okay, right? Okay, it provides e-content and QR code energized textbook, right, ETBs for teachers and students across the states and union territories. Yes, that is also absolutely correct. Okay, which of the following reaction involves a chain reaction mechanism that start a ketone group? Okay, right, aldol condensation over here is not your right answer. The correct answer over here is base catalyzed haloform reaction. Okay, right, C over here is your correct answer. Okay, with reference to biomagnification, consider the following statement. Okay, biomagnification refers to the increase in concentration of a toxic substance at a successive tropic levels in a food chain. Yes, this is your absolutely correct. Okay, water soluble pollutants are more likely to undergo, right, biomagnification than fat soluble pollutants. Okay, so it is the other way around. Okay, fat soluble are more likely to go through the biomagnification. What actually happens in the biomagnification is that all those small right microplastics and all the harmful stuffs that we are eating, okay, it gets collected in the body and it doesn't really go out, right? Okay, because it is stored in the body and it gets stored in the body forever. Okay, right? So water soluble, they people throw it out of body by the way of excretion, right, urination and all that. But when the fat soluble, it gets stored under the body, right, as fats, and it doesn't really gets out from the body. So this is the other way around. Top carnivores are generally the most affected organisms in food chain due to this biomagnification. Exactly. Okay, right? So, the top of the food chain, like for example human beings, okay, right, for example, carnivorous animals like lion, tiger, you will see their body, right, okay, some people, some human beings, those who eat a lot of meat and all, they will have a lot of muscular body, but at the same time it is also said that they also include a lot of toxin in their body as well. Okay, right? Which of the following best describes the nearby missile over here? Okay, right? So nearby missile over here is your cruise missile. Okay, it's an all-weather cruise missile. Okay, it can all-weather surface-to-air cruise missile. Okay, right? All right. So now I'm sure that this is numeric ability is what you guys have been waiting for. Okay. Hi, Silent Viper. Hello, good evening. Okay, write down the answer. You four guys are there, you guys are not writing the answer. Okay, right? If the simple interest on a sum, now you guys will enjoy doing mathematics with me. If the simple interest on a sum of money for 2 years at the rate of 5% per annum is for 2 years, if it is 6,000, right? Simple interest is 6,000. So obviously it was 3,000 and 3,000. Then how much will be the compound interest, right? So compound interest for first year will be this only, and for second year will be this number plus 5% of this number, which is a 150. Add all of this, you get 6,150. Okay, right? Good evening, sir. I have 40 days left for serious exam. What should be my first priority? What should I do now? Okay, yeah. See, obviously, you guys have to do the PYQs. Okay, right? And if you are habitual reader, then do read Lucent GK book. Okay, right? And do lots and lots of PYQs and do it properly. Okay, right? So many a times what happens that they will give you a question with 4 options A, B, C, D, right? And the next time what will happen? Next time what do? They create a question from option D. Okay, so you have to study qualitatively. When everyone is saying study PYQ, but how should you study? Is that you should do qualitative study. Okay, if any word has come onto your UPSC question paper, okay, it needs to be analyzed like hell. Okay, right? So that's what my opinion is. Okay, right? And keep reading newspaper. English has to be in your behavior, right? Okay, right? GK PYQs will help. Newspaper will help. A little bit of your newspaper PYQ, Lucent GK will help. Okay, right? Read it like a novel. Okay, and for maths, okay, maths is a one time hard work. You have to do one time hard work. If you are able to do one time hard work, then we are good to go. Okay, right? All right. Okay, so Silent Viper, I thought I hope I answered your question. Okay, right? Most important of all, try to understand that you have to score only 80 out of 200. 81, 85, 90 is what the cutoff goes for your CDS, right? Okay, right? So you guys can't score 40% of the marks, right? What have you done till your childhood, till your graduation? Okay, you guys must have studied something, right? Isn't it? Okay, so first of all, have faith in yourself and keep your heads down and just keep on working. Okay, right? Now we are doing question number 57. Chapter priority for maths and how many years of PYQs. Okay, right? Okay. Qualitatively studying 10 PYQs will work. Okay, right? And there are certain chapters like your, for example, your trigonometry, geometry. Okay, right? And mensuration, right? Statistics. This you have good number of questions coming for your mathematics. Okay, right? As far as other subjects are concerned, UPSC can go anywhere. Okay, right? So stick with PYQ, right? If they given you about governor, right? So learn all about the governor, okay, its power, the exceptions, what can be the XYZ from different angles, from as much angles as you can, okay. CM, PM, president, what are their powers, what, how it is called, okay, right, okay. So UPSC GK, they can go in any direction, okay, and you just have to score 80 to 90 marks out of 200, right? So it's not a huge stuff, okay. Score marks from English as much as you can. That's what I've been doing, okay. I've been scoring close to 70 marks from English, right? Nowadays English paper is also not that easy, so you guys can target close to 60, okay, and 30 to 40 marks from GK is what you should be targeting. If you are lucky enough to write mathematics, then obviously you should be scoring over here 40 marks, 30 to 40 marks, okay, right? So IMA will be cleared for sure. If you are very good with all these subjects, then AFA will also be cleared, okay. All right, so what is the remainder when you divide this number by 16, okay? So you need to understand that when anyone asks you what is the divisibility rule for 2, right, okay, right, what should I study, chapter wise grammar, okay. Grammar I don't suggest you guys to study, okay, rather I suggest you to read, okay, read and speak the sentence and listen to it, how it sounds, okay. When I read this question, for example, in a box of 3 yellow balls, 5 red balls, 4 green balls are there, okay. In a box, 3 yellow balls, 5 red balls, 4 green balls are there. If 3 balls are taken out randomly, then what is the probability of getting out 2 balls? Now listen to what it is said. Did you find any friction? Right? No, you did not find friction. Generally, if you find friction, right? If you find friction in while reading, okay, because you have not read it before, which means there is a very good chance that there is a grammatical error, okay. I personally don't do subject plus verb plus object, okay, right? That grammatical rules you can keep on studying for the whole of your life, but then it may or may not help you in your exams, okay. So focus on reading. That's why reading is encouraged, okay. All right, so you know the divisibility rule for 2 is that you check the unit digit. Divisibility rule for 4 is that you check the last 2 digit. Divisibility rule for 8 is that you check the last 3 digit. Then obviously the divisibility rule for, right, the last for 16, which is your 2 raised to the power 4, we are worried about the last 4 digit, okay. That's it, we are worried about. These numbers are not of our use, okay. So we take this number 1920 and divide that with 16 over here, okay. 1 times 16 and over here 2 times 32, right, gone, right. So what is the remainder? 0 is the remainder. That's it, okay. Yeah, thank you so much Silent Viper for your question. I really appreciate it, okay. Now over here in a box you have got 3 yellow ball, 5 red ball, right? 3 yellow ball you have got, 5 red ball you have got, and 4 green ball you have got, okay, right? And if 3 balls are taken out randomly, you want to take out 3 balls, okay, and how many of it and what is the probability that you are getting 2 of it are, you know, green balls, okay, right? If 2 of it you want the green balls, you have 4 green balls, so obviously you can select 4C2, right, okay. This is one way. And the rest of it, right, rest of out of these 8 balls you need to select one, which is your 8C1, divided by what is the total number of ways in which you can pick up the balls, okay, right. You have to take out 3 balls in total, right, okay. 5 plus 4 is 9 plus 3 is 12C3 over here, okay, right. So now you just have to solve for this, right, okay. Question number 58. Now we just solve for this over here, right, okay. 4C2, which means your 4 factorial divided by 2 factorial, 2 factorial, 8 factorial, 7 factorial. No need of writing 1 factorial, that doesn't make any sense, okay, right. 12 factorial, 9 factorial, and then 3 factorial, okay, right. So this is what we have into the picture, folks, okay. Now 4 factorial over here is 4 into 3. This is gone. Factorial is gone. Now over here 2 factorial is your 2 only. 8 factorial divided by 7 factorial is your 8 only. Right? Okay. 12 factorial is 12 into 11 into 10. 9 factorial onwards would go into a toss. Okay. Right? So 3 into 2 over here. Okay. Now this one gone 4 times. This one gone 2 times over here. Okay. 4 into 4 is 16, 48, and then over here is your 220. Okay, right? So this one gone 24, this one gone 110, this one gone 12, this one gone 55. Okay, so 12 divided by 55. Okay, 58. B is the answer to this particular question, folks. Okay, right? All right, so you guys are there, 2-3 of you are there. Okay, please write down the answer to these questions. Okay, you cannot ask for anything easier than this. Okay, right? The area of a floor of a rectangular hall. Okay, the area of a floor of a rectangular hall of 40 meter is 960. Carpet size is required of 6 and 4 meter available. Then how many carpets you read? 960, right, is the area, and then the area of the carpet over here. Okay, 6 into 4 is 24. This one goes 40 times. So C over here is your correct answer, folks. Okay, right? So a person travels a certain distance as at 3 km/h and reaches 15 minutes late. Okay, right? You know one thing, distance is equal to speed into time, right? Time is equal to, let's say the original time is t, right? He reaches 15 minutes late. I'm writing in terms of hour, right? And if he travels at the speed of 4 km/h, he reaches 15 minutes early. So this is what we have. Both of these are in the nature of d. So I'm equating that, which is your 3t plus 45 by 60, which is equal to 4t minus 60 by 60, right? Okay, right? So now if it gone over here, 105 by 60 is equal to t, which means t over here is this. Okay, if we got the value of t, just put in over here. Okay, right? 105 plus 15 over here is your 120 by 6. Okay, 120 by 60, right? This is obviously 2. 3 into 2 is your 6 kilometers. Right? Okay, right? So now you have over here a rectangular sheet has a length of 30 and 15 centimeter. Okay, right? It has the length of 30 centimeter over here and 15 centimeter over here. Okay, right? A margin of 2.5 centimeter from the length side. Okay, so from the length side, if you are leaving 2.5 over here and 2.5 over here, okay, so obviously this length that is left over here is a 25, isn't it? Okay, and the breadth over here is 15. If you are leaving the margin of 1.5 and 1.5 over here, okay, 1.5 and 1.5 over here, so obviously this length in green over here is your 12, right? Okay, so initially how much was the area? Initially the area was 30 into 15. 30 into 15 is your 450, and right now what is the area? Right now your dimension is 15 into 12, which is nothing but your 300. Okay, right? 450 became 300. If 450 became 300, then what percentage of the original area is left? It is 2/3, right? 66 by 66.66 is a 2/3, right? Okay, right? Ram and Shyam weight ratio is 6:5. Okay, if their weight ratio is 6:5, can I simply say their weight is 60 and 50? Right? After 2 months, Ram's weight increased by 20%, right? If Ram's weight increased by 20%, which means it became 72, and the overall average weight increased by 15%. Okay, so first of all, what was the average over here? Average over here was 55, right? 60 and 50, the average is 55, and this got increased by 15%. Okay, right? If this got increased by 15%, means I've taught you guys lot many times about the multiplying factor. Okay, 55 into, right? Okay, right, 1.12, right? So how much is this particular number? Okay, right? So I'm feeling a bit of lazy over here. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, 55 into 1.12, right? 55.1.12. Now the new average is 61.6. Okay, if the new average is 61.6 over here, right? If the new average is 61.6, which means your total weight over here is how much? 6 into 2, right? Okay, is 12, and 3 12. 123.2 is your new weight. Earlier the total weight was 110. Okay, the overall weight, in what percentage Shyam's weight increased? Okay, right. 72 was Ram's weight. Okay, so Shyam's weight is going to be minus 72.215, 51.2. Okay, right. Yeah, 51.2. Are we doing any error anywhere? Okay, their initial okay, Ram and Shyam's weight ratio is 60:50. After 2 months, Ram's weight increased by 20%. Okay, Ram's weight increased by 20% means Ram's weight now is 72, right? Okay, right. And overall average weight increase by 15%. Okay, so 15. Okay, 15%. Okay, right. Over here is 55 into 1.15. Okay, 55 into 1.15. Okay, so this is your 63 point, right? Okay, this is your 63.25. Okay, 63.25 into 2, which means their total weight over here is how much? 126.5. Okay, 126.5. Okay, so 72 is the weight of Ram, so 126.5, 72, 5, 4 and 54. Okay, right. So 50 sorry, so 50 over here became your 54.5. Okay, if 50 became 54.5 over here, okay, if 50 became 54.5, then obviously the increase over here is your 9%. Okay, right. So now we'll move to the next question. This is your two mixture of milk and water are given. 1 liter, one is 8 liter, has 2 liters of water. Okay, right, 8 liters, right? Milk and water over here is a 6, over here is a 2, right? While in the another one you have 14 liters, right? Even the 14 liters over here, right? Milk and water are in the ratio 6:1. Okay, so which means obviously 14 means over here 12 and 2, right? Okay, it is pretty much visible, right? Okay, 6x plus x is equal to 14, which means 7x is equal to 14, x is equal to 14 by 2, which is equal to 7, right? No, sorry, okay, which is equal to 2, then 6x is equal to 2. New mixture, what is the ratio? 18:4, 9:2. Okay, right? After mixing both, find a water to milk. Okay, this was milk to water, 9:2 was milk to water, and water to milk is 2:9. Okay, 2:9. Okay, now this question is very interesting one. Now look at here. P calculates his profit on cost price, while Q calculates his profit on P calculates his profit on cost price. Okay, Q calculates the profit on the selling price. Okay, they find that the difference in their profits are 600 rupees if the selling price of both men are same. Okay, if the selling price for both of these guys are the same, right? Okay, right, then how does it work out? Okay, Q gets 50% profit. Okay, Q gets 50% profit and P gets 40% profit. Okay, right. Okay, now you need to understand one thing. P calculates its profit on cost price, right? If P calculates its profit on the cost price, so obviously the multiplying factor over here is 1.4. If you guys have heard about the multiplying factor, right? So which of this number is divisible by 1.4 or 14? Okay, obviously this number is divisible by that, isn't it? Okay, so which means over here is that if 50% profit over here, right? Okay, so if Q is getting the profit over here of 50%, right? So which means Q is getting a profit of 1400, right? Isn't it? Okay. And P, right? For P, the cost price is equal to 2800 divided by 1.4, which is nothing but your 2000. 2000 is the cost price, and 2000 minus 2800 over here is how much? It is your another 800. Okay, so what is the difference of these two values? Difference of these two values is 600. So that is why we go ahead with D over here as your correct answer. Okay. All right, 8 years ago, a family of 5 members had an average of 25 years. Okay, right? 8 years ago, a family of 5 members had an average age of 25 years. Okay, right? So what were the total age? 25 into 5, right? Okay, and then what happened, right? Then what happened since then, right? So what is their present age? Present age is this particular number plus 8 into 5, right? So I'm doing 8 into 5. Since then 2 children have born with an age difference of 4. Okay, I'm saying first child is X, another child is X plus 4. Okay, currently the average age of the family remains the same. Okay, if the average age of the family remains the same, it means 25. How many family members are there? 7 members are there. Okay, right? Okay, so 25 into 5 is how much? 125. 125 plus 40 over here is a 165. 165, 169. Okay, 2x plus 169 over here is equal to 175. Okay, which means x is equal to 6 by 2, which is equal to 3. What is this saying? What is the age of the youngest child? The youngest child age, what we assumed? We assumed that it was x. X value is 3 over here. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is your question number 66 over here, right? You have a truck over here, a truck traveling at 70 km/h, okay, per hour, uses 30% more diesel to travel a certain distance than it does when it travels at 50 km/h per hour. So understand the question. What it is saying, that if it is traveling at 60 km/h, it will consume more diesel, right? If the truck can travel 19.5 kilometers, right, on a per liter, okay, per liter of a diesel, if it is running at 50 km/h, okay, then how far the truck will travel on 10 liters of diesel at 70 km/h? Okay, right? So at the rate of 50 km/h, if you have 10 liters of petrol, it would have traveled 195 kilometer. Okay, right? Since it consumes 30% more diesel while the speed is 70 km/h, the distance that it will travel, it is going to be 30% less. Okay, right? Which means this number is your 30% extra as compared to that 50%. Okay, right? So which means x plus x of 30% over here is equal to 195. Okay, so 195 divided by 1.3, right? Okay, so what is this particular value? It goes 15 times. So over here 150 is your answer. Okay, right? Ask me in the chat if you guys do not understand. Okay, if any of this thing, if you are not able to understand, kindly ask me. Okay, now clocks chapter was very famous during those time and even this time also, right? So in this question what they are asking, at what time between 2 and 3 o'clock, okay, will the minute hand be exactly 6 minutes space ahead of the hour hand? Okay, so the minute hand is ahead of the hour hand by 1 minute exactly. Okay, time is 2 hours some minute 2 hours some minute, that we don't know. Okay, right? Time is 2 hours some minutes over here. Okay, since the time is 2 hours some minutes over here, let's just calculate, minute hand, right? Minute hand, it makes 6 degree. So for minute hand, the value it is your, I'm writing it as x over here. Okay, it is making this much angle, right? Our hand, right? Our hand over here, right? hour hand is dependent on both your hour hand and minute hand in terms of making the angle, right? And you know it makes half a degree every single minute, okay? So plus x by 2, okay, which is this how much, which is your 60 plus x by 2. X by 2 I'm writing 0.5 x, okay, right? So this is the condition, okay, so this is the condition of your hour hand over here, okay, right? This is the condition of the hour hand and this is the condition of the minute hand. And what it is saying is that their difference is exactly 1 minute, okay, right? The which one is ahead? 6x is ahead. 6x minus 60 plus 0.5x, right? Which means 5.5x minus 60. 1 minute. 1 minute is equal to nothing but your 6 degrees. Okay, every single minute over here is your 6 degree. Okay, minute hand is ahead, so that is why in terms of the minute hand. Okay, so now 5.5 is equal to over here is your 66, right? This one gone over here, so I will put in one more 0 over here. This one 5 times, this one gone 6 times, right? This one gone 12 times. Okay, which means x is equal to 12, which means 2 hours and 12 minutes over here is going to be your answer. Okay, yeah. Can you just give me one moment? Louis, can you reduce the fan? You make noise over here. Okay, guys, is the fan? Are you guys disturbed by the fan noise on that side? Let me know on my in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, obviously you will have to subscribe to do the chart over here. Okay, yeah, so please do. Okay, suppose C1, C2, C3, C4 and C5 are the companies. The profits made by C1, C2, C3 are in the ratio of 9:10:8. Okay, right? And C2, C4 and C5 they are in the ratio of 18, 19 and 20. Okay, right? 18, 19 and 20. Okay, if C5 has made a profit of 19 crore more than C1, okay, right, then the total profits made by all 5 companies is what? Okay, so first of all we have been given C2 over here, right, in this 10 and in this over here you have got 8 into the picture. Okay, so first of all what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to equate these two ratios. Okay, for equating these two ratios, first we multiply over there by 18 and over here by 10. Okay, right? So this is what we have. So C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, the entire all of this will come into the same picture. Okay, right? So 18 into 9 is how much? 180 minus 18, 162. Okay, right? 162. Okay, this is your 180. Okay, right? And how much is this? Yeah, this is your C3 is 144. Okay, right? And C4 is 190 and C5 is 200, right? So this is your basic ratio over here. Okay, C1, C2, C3, C4, right? So what it is asking over here, if C5 made 19 crores, right? If C5 made 19 crores, right? So which means their difference actually is 38. Okay, right? Their difference actually is 38, but then they are saying the difference is how much? 19 only. Okay, so what we are doing over here, I am writing 18, 19, 72, this is your 95 and over here 100. Now what we do? Add all of this. Okay, right? Now when you add all of this, 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 5, over here 8. Unit digit is 8. Don't calculate the entire stuff. See over here is your answer and just move to the next one, right? Okay. Alright, now question number 69. 15 years ago, right, 15 years ago the average age of 4 members of a family was 40 years. Okay, right? So total age 4 years ago was 40 into 4, right? Okay, now 15 years have gone, so which means 15 into 4, right? During this 15 years 2 children were born, but the average age remained the same, right? If the older child is 8 years older, okay, so I'm saying younger child is x and the older child is x plus 8, okay, right? And the average remained the same, average remained 40 only, but earlier there were 4 members, there are 2 more members, okay, right? So now what all can we do? Now we can write over here 160, right? Over here we can write 60, okay, over here we can write 2x, okay, and over here we can write how much? 240, okay, 240 is what we can write, okay. So this is a 220, 228, 228, okay, 228 minus 240 is your how much? 12, okay, right? Which means x is equal to 6, right? So if x is equal to 6, right, the elder child is obviously is your 8 plus 6 is your 14. So 3 is to 7, okay. Find the ratios of the both the child, 7 is to 3 or 3 is to 7. Both are absolutely correct one, okay. Now we move on to the next question, question number, right, 70 over here, okay. Question number 70, Rakesh and Ramesh both sell an article at the same selling price, okay. Both of them are selling the article at the same selling price, okay, right? So Ramesh calculates the profit on cost price, okay, Ramesh and Rakesh, okay, right? Ramesh calculates profit on the cost price, okay, right? This calculates the profit on the cost price, okay, and Rakesh calculates the profit on the selling price, okay, right? Ramesh calculates profit on the cost price, that is 25%, okay, right? And while Rakesh calculates the profit on the selling price, okay, which is also 25%, and the difference over here is your 100, okay. If let's say talk about Rakesh, if 3000 was the answer, he would have made 750 profit, okay. Over here he would have made 1000 rupees profit, he would have made 500 rupees profit, he would have made 250 rupees profit, okay. This is about Rakesh, okay, this is about Rakesh. And about this particular guy Ramesh, okay, right? Now for this particular guy Ramesh, we will have to, right, if we will have to assume, okay, let this be, we will have to assume, right, the cost price, okay, cost price if it is x, so x plus x of 25%, which means 1.25x is equal to the selling price. Now which of these 4 options could be the selling price, okay? If we say, if we take option 1, 3000 over here, okay, right? So this one goes how many times, okay, right? This is your 100, this is 4 times, this is 5 times, okay, right? 0, okay. So which means over here his cost price is your 2400, which means the profit is how much? Profit is how much? 600, okay. Profit is how much? 600, right, okay. So if this is the profit, and over here for the other guy, if 750 rupees is the profit, okay, the difference is 100 only, right? So obviously this is not your answer. Now if you check with this, okay, now if you check with this particular guy, right, the next guy, which is a 1.25x is equal to 2000, if I write, right, this is a 4 times, this is a 5 times, okay, right, over here this is your 400 times, which is your 1600. In this case the other guy, okay, Ramesh, he books profit of 400, okay, and exactly the difference in their profit is equal to how much? 100 rupees over here, folks, okay. Now a person read 18 books in 2 by 3 days. If a person is reading 18 books in 2 by 3 days, right, okay, right? So obviously 9 plus 9 plus 9, okay, right? He is reading in two out of 3 days, okay, 2 by 3 days. If someone is reading 18 books, so in one day he'll be reading 27 books, right? And so in 1/4 of the day they'll be reading 27 by 4 books, right? Okay, so 71 C over here is your answer, folks. Okay, a boat goes 140 kilometers upstream, okay, right? 140 kilometers upstream, okay, which means speed of the stream plus the speed of the boat in 7 hours, okay, right? And a distance of 210 kilometers, okay, now this is your upstream, sorry, okay, right? So this will be your boat minus stream, okay, and 210 kilometers, right? Okay, it goes downstream. Downstream is boat plus stream, and it goes in how much? 7 hours, okay, right? Right, so this is what we have into the picture, folks, right? Okay, so now I can chuck out these two, which is a 20, and we can chuck out these two, which is a 30, okay, right? Yeah, so 20 divided by b minus s is equal to 1, okay, and 30 divided by b plus s is also equal to 1, right? If this is the case, now you tell me over here, okay, now you tell me, is it the case that boat, if see, if it is 30 over here, then obviously it could be 5, it has to be 6, it has to be 10, and it has to be 0, right? I mean the speed of the stream, okay. 30 minus 0, will it work out? No, right? 20 minus 10, will it work out? No. 25 plus 5, 25 plus 5, okay, first of all 25 minus 5 is 20, yes, it works out. 25 plus 5, 30 by 30, again it also works out, okay. So B over here is your correct answer, folks. Right, so now we move to question number 73 over here, okay, right? A circle of radius 21 centimeter is converted into triangle, okay. If a circle of radius 21 centimeter is converted into a rectangle, okay, what it means that the perimeter of a circle is equal to the perimeter of the rectangle, okay, right? So perimeter of the circle over here is your 2 pi r, okay, 2 pi r, okay, right? So 6 into 22, okay, so 132 over here is the perimeter, okay, right? And the length and breadth over here, it is saying it is your 6 and 6x and 5x over here, okay, right? So which means 11x is equal to 132, okay, right? So this is your 12, okay, so which means the length is 12 and the breadth is how much? 60. So what they are asking, find the area over here, okay, right? Find the area of the rectangle. A circle of radius 21 centimeter is converted, okay, right? 2 pi r, okay, 2 pi r, 6, okay, right? So perimeter is same, okay, okay, okay. 2 into L plus B over here is your 132, which means length plus breadth is equal to how much? Length plus breadth is equal to how much? 66. Right, this is not the correct one, okay, right? So now they are saying 6x, length is your 6x, breadth is your 5x is equal to 6x, which means 11x is equal to 66, x is equal to 6, okay, right? Okay, so which means 6x over here is your 36, 5x over here is your 30, okay, right? So obviously the area over here is your 1080 is the answer, folks, right? Alright, folks, so we move to question number 74 over here, right? Root under 1225, it is your nothing but your 35, okay. Cube root of 343 is nothing but your 7 into 45% of 700 of 760, okay. 45 into 760 divided by 100, this one gone, this one gone, this one gone 2 times, this one gone 9 times, this one gone 38 times. Okay, right? Okay, so 38 into 9, 38 into 9 is how much? 40 into 9 is 360, 360 minus 18, 360 minus 342. Okay, so 342, which is equal to x into 66.67%, which is nothing but your 2/3, okay, right, of 45, which is 2/3 of 45 is your this particular value. Again, now this particular value is nothing but your what was this particular value? This particular value is your nothing but your 5, okay, right? Okay, this is your 5 over here. This one gone 6 times, okay, this one gone, yeah. So x value over here is equal to 57. Over here is a correct answer, folks. Okay, so now we reach the last and final question over here for question number 75. Last and final question for mathematics is what we are doing. A and B undertook work for 4,000 rupees. A alone can do the work in 20 days. B alone can do the work in 30 days. Okay, 20 and 30 days. Okay, so in what ratio they will get the payment? Okay, so they will get the payment in the reverse ratio, which is your 3:2. Okay, so what will be the difference in the amount? Okay, right? So which means 3x plus 2x is equal to 4,000. Okay, right? So which means x is the difference, right? The difference between them is x. Okay, so sorry, it's not 880. The answer is 800 over here. 75. A over here is going to be your correct answer, folks. Okay, right? Yep. So 800 is going to be your correct answer, folks, over here. Yeah, right? So now we slowly get started over here with your reasoning portion. Tell me what you guys think, yeah, about this reasoning. 2 of you are here. Tell me. 2 of you are here, boys and girls. Yeah. Tell me, boys and girls. Tell me, what's up? Tell me. Question number 76. Can you solve this? Can you solve question number 76? Yeah. At what time between 3 and 4 o'clock is the minute hand 7 minutes ahead of the hour hand? Okay, right? So obviously the time is 3 hours and some minutes over here, right? The time is 3 hours and some minutes, right? Isn't it? Guys, 3 of you are here. None of you are writing down in the chat. Okay, right? 3 hours, 1 minute of time you have over here. Okay, 3 minutes and some minutes of time. Okay, right? And you know, hour hand is dependent on, right, both hour and minute hand. So 3 into 60 into half plus m by 2, right? Which means 90 plus 0.5 m. Okay, this is influenced by the hour hand. Okay, right? This is nothing but your hour hand. Okay, right? And now about the minute hand, right? Minute hand is simply 6m. Okay, and now if the minute hand is ahead of the hour hand, so obviously we will do 6m minus 90 plus 0.5m. Okay, right? So which means over here is your 5.5m minus 90. Okay, this is what we have into the picture, 5.5m minus 90. Okay, right? 5.5m minus 90 is what we have into the picture, 5.5m minus 90. Now this value 5.5m minus 90, it is going to be 7 minutes ahead. Okay, if the minute hand is 7 minutes ahead, you know every single minute it is making 6 degree, so which means it is your 42 degree ahead. okay, right? So which means it is equal to your 42 degrees over here. This is also in terms of degree. 90 plus 42 is how much? 132, right? So which means m is equal to 132 divided by 5.5, right? Okay, this one gone 10, this one gone 5 times, this one gone 12 times, this one gone this one, okay, right? So 12 into 2 is how much? 24, right? So which means over here 76B over here is your answer to the question, folks. How about 77? What do you guys think about question number 77? Write down in the chat. You guys feel shy? You guys feel shy about writing down the answer in the chat? Yeah? You feel shy in subscribing and writing down the answer in the chat? Yeah? You feel this much shy? Come on. Okay. Yeah? We have left everything to teach you. Seriously. Yeah? Tell me. Question number 77. Yeah? Tell me, boys, 4 of you are there. Okay? Yeah? Yeah. The moment we asked for subscription, you guys left. Yeah? Alright. No worries. Anyways, just write down what you guys think. Question number 77. Yeah? Question number 77, folks. Anyone? Okay. Alright. Okay. So question number 77. Over here, this is your nothing but first, second, third, fourth. So obviously the next one will be fifth. Okay. So TH is going to be your answer. Question number 78. River water, liquid and milk. Okay. Liquid, river water and milk. Okay. 78. A is your answer. Okay. If the first half of the English alphabet is reversed, okay, if the first half of the English alphabet is reversed, okay, and the second half is reversed, right, okay, so first of all, you need to know the milestones, okay, J is a milestone, J, K, right, L, right, M. These are the milestones. Hi, Shubham. Thank you so much, Shubham Kumar. Yeah. Hello, Shubham Kumar. I think you are known to me. Okay, so till M it is your milestone. Okay, right. Till M it represents the first half of the alphabet. Okay, right. The first 13 letters. Right. If the first half of the English alphabet is reversed, okay, and then the second half is reversed, okay, which will be the 10th letter from right. 10th letter from right means 10th letter from the end, okay, right. So M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X. I don't need to write anymore, okay. Just count the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay. W over here is going to be the answer to this particular question, okay, right. Easily understandable, easily doable. Question number 80, tell me, okay, Venn diagram, sorry, dot situation, okay. Now if you look at this particular dot situation question, right, there is this particular dot which represents all the 3 figures, in fact all the 4 figures, and if you look closely there is no intersection. Oh, Shubh, this side. Good to see you. Well explained. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shubh. Okay, for joining. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Let's get cracking. I hope you are liking it. Okay. Right. So now this particular dot represents all the 4 figures, and now in option number A you can see that there is no intersection between these 2 figures. Option number B, there is no intersection between these 2 figures. And option number D, there is no intersection between these 2 figures. So obviously these are not going to be the right answer. Your right answer is going to be option number C. Okay. Now we have one more over here, question number 81. Okay, right. dot situation over here. We want to have circle alone, we can't have circle alone over here, right? Okay, this dot represents a circle, you can possibly represent it over here, this particular dot. Okay, right? Now about this green one, this is your triangle and rectangle. Okay, right? Triangle and rectangle alone we want. Okay, triangle and rectangle we can get it. Okay, can we get triangle and rectangle alone over here? No, circle is also coming into the picture, we don't want that. Okay, right? Triangle and circle. Okay, right? Triangle and circle alone we want. Okay, right? In green dot represented your rectangle and triangle. Okay, right? So rectangle and triangle you could have denoted it over here, right? Now this particular dot represents your triangle and circle. Okay, right? Triangle and circle, you can represent it over here. Okay, now if you do zoom in, okay, we do have a space, little bit of space over here. Okay, but please do not contest on that. Okay, right? So obviously that space is not prominent, so we are not going ahead with that. 81 B is what we are going ahead with. Okay, blood relation questions, you guys have faced a lot of blood relation questions. P and Q are brothers, so write down like this: P and Q are brothers. Okay, right? Both of them are males. Okay, P is the father of S. Okay, so which means P has got a wife. Okay, right? And P is the father of S over here, right? Okay, this is your S. R is the only son of Q, so Q also has got a wife. Okay, and R is the only son of Q, right? And Q is Q. R is the only son of Q and is married to U. Okay, right? Right? Who is married to you? Right? R is married to you. Okay, right? So R is married to you. Okay, how is U related to S? Okay, right? R is the only son. Son means male, right? Okay, son means male. Okay, U is a female. Okay, now what is the relationship between S and U? They are in the same generation. Okay, so they cannot be mother or this. Obviously they are not sister, they are sister in law. Okay, right? In the same manner as the second term is connected to the first term, pick the option which is associated with the third phrase over here. Okay, right? E, F, M, N, A, B. Okay, so F, G, O, P, B, C. Okay, these two options we have into the picture. Okay, S, T, U, V. Okay, W, X, Y, Z. It was an easy one. Okay, right? Question number 84, analogy question. If this is to this, then this is to what? Okay, obviously over here this is a water image, right? So A over here is your answer. Let's not spend much time over here. Question number 85, odd man out, political science, biology, history and sociology. Okay, biology is your science subject, rest all others are your, biology is your science subject, rest all others are your art subject. Odd numbers over here, you can say obviously these three numbers are either divisible by 10 or even numbers also you can tell, right? Or you can say 15 is not divisible and all that. Okay, right? Easy ones, very, very easy ones. Okay, now question number 87. This is a challenging one. Question number 87. This is a challenging one. If you solve this question in the chat, okay, without actually, finding out the answer from ChatGPT or, trying to Google this, okay, right? If you can solve this question, yeah, then I'll be very happy, yeah, obviously, yeah, that you are able to solve the question, right? Tell me, yeah, tell me about this particular question, what do you guys think? Yeah, okay, question number 87, okay, question number 87, okay. So whenever you have such a kind of question, just write down MOBILE, okay, right, and write down BJ, FZ, LK. Okay, right? And what other things we know here? What are the other things we know here? Tell me. What are the other things we know here? We don't know anything. Okay. So if you don't know anything, just write down the uh, milestones. Okay. EJOTY. Okay. Milestones are your 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay. E is your 5. EJO, right? JOT. YZ is your 26. F is your EABCDE. F is your 6. B obviously is your 2. J, K, L, L, I, J, M, O, B, right? Okay. I, G, K, L, M. Right. These are the numbers. These are the numbers, right? Isn't it? Okay. Now if you look closely, over here it is your minus 2. Over here it is a minus 3. Right? Okay. Right? And over here it is your what? Again your minus 3. Right? Obviously when you do minus 3 means Z will come into the picture. Okay. Over here again is your minus 3. Minus 2. Minus 3. Okay. Understood? Okay. So how will you be writing Kindle? KINDLE. Okay. The same goes for this code also. Okay. Right. So I will write over here. First of all, D is your 4, E is your 5, L is your 12, M, N is your 14, I, J. Right. I is your 9, I, J, K over here is your 11. Okay. Right. So if your K is 11, right? Okay. So minus 2, right? So the last one will be your I. Okay. Last one is your I, which means this is not your correct answer. Okay. Right. Then 3 behind, which means the second last one is going to be your F over here. Okay. Right. And then again minus 3 over here, which means 11. Okay. Then J. The third last is going to be K over here. Okay. So IFK 87. B over here is your correct answer, folks. Okay. Please do this question. Okay. Now we have a blood relation question. Question number 88. Okay. Guys, write down in the chat. Write down your answers in the chat. Okay. Yeah. I want you guys to write down the answer in the chat. Okay. You had questions like this. Okay. You had blood relation questions last time. Okay. P plus Q. First of all, where is the husband wife? Okay, right? Okay, A is the wife of A is wife of B. Okay, A minus B means A is the wife of B. Okay, so which means Q is the wife of S. Okay, right? Q is the wife of S. P plus Q, right? P plus Q means P is the brother of Q over here. Okay, P plus Q, right? So P over here is this particular stuff. Okay, and then you have S plus R. Okay, which means A is brother of B. Okay, A is brother of B. S plus R, which means S is brother over here of R over here. Okay, right? Okay, and then A into B. A into B, which means R into L, right? R into L over here, right? So A is son of B, right? Which means R is son of L. Okay, R is the son of L over here. Okay, right? And L is the husband of M. Okay, so this is what the family tree looks like. Which of the statement is correct? Q is sister of M. No, they are in a 2 different generations. P is S. P is S wife's brother. Okay, right? L is the father of P. No. Okay. P is the brother of S. No. Right? P is S wife brother. B over here is your correct answer, folks. Okay, right? All right. Okay, so now question number 89. Silpa goes to a park every day for walking. On one morning, she started walking from her home and walked 40 kilometers towards north. Okay, right? North is in which direction? This direction. Okay. Then she turned to her right and walked 60 kilometers. Again, then she turned right and walked 40 kilometers. Remember, this is also 40, this is also 40, this is 60. Okay. Lastly, she took the left turn. Okay, right? She took the left turn and walked 30 kilometers. So this is your 30 kilometers. How far she is from her home? Okay, she is this far, which is your green line over here, right? 60 30, which is your 89, 90 kilometers over here. B is your answer to this question. Okay, right? Now water image, question number 90, water image. What do you guys think? Question number 90, water image over here. Yeah, question number 90, water image. Yeah, question number 90, water image. What do you guys think? Tell me. Two of you are here. Two of you are here, folks. Tell me. Yeah. What do you think is the water image? Water image will have to, it will form over here, right? Okay. If it forms over here, this dot, this is wrong, okay, right? Indeed, D over here is a correct answer. Question number 91. Triangle represents football players, right? Circle represents Kho players, right? Rectangle represents Kabaddi players. You had this kind of question, right? How many players play both Kabaddi and football only? Okay, Kabaddi and football only. So we are not going to consider this. We are going to consider this alone. Okay, right? Very easy. Now tell me question number 92. What do you think will come over here? Question number 92. Question number 92. Tell me folks, question number 92. Yeah. What do you think? Question number 92 here. Yeah. Question number 92 folks. What do you guys think here? Yeah. Tell me. Question number 92. We are almost done over here. Tell me what do you think about question number 92 here. Yeah. Yep, boys. Question number 92. Tell me. Question number 92. What do you think about question number 92? Tell me. Yeah. Now if you look properly, what is the over here? This is a 14, okay? This is a 50. This is a 31. Okay? Right? Yeah? Okay. So this is your how much? Difference over here is 19. Okay. So the difference of these two numbers, if I add 19 over here, okay, right? If I add 19 over here, 14, okay, 108 minus 149 is a 31. Sorry, this is a 41. Okay, this is 41. Okay, right? So now if I write over here 23, right, and I add this value 23 over here, 53 plus 23, right, is your 76. This difference is your 9. Okay, this difference is also your 9. If over here is your 76, right, then if over here we have like 76 in the option, right? Okay, yeah, if we have 76 as well over here, okay, if we have, instead of what we have this 76, this is a 14, 23, this is a 38, yeah, sorry, 32, and then this value is how much? 41, this value is a 50. Okay, difference is 9. How much is the difference? Difference is 9 throughout. Okay, so question number 92, we go ahead with 76 as the answer. How about question number 93? Question number 93 over here. Tell me, question number 93. Right? Right? So it is an easy one, right? A over here is going to be the answer. Okay. What will come in the place of the question mark if plus and into are interchanged and if minus and division are interchanged? Okay. So 105 divided by 15 minus 30 plus 3 into 27. Okay. Yeah. 7 minus 13 plus 81. 88 minus 13. Yeah. What will come in place of question mark in the following question if plus and into are interchanged? 105, 15, 13, 3, 27 over here. Okay. So if plus and into are interchanged over here, right? Okay, plus and into are interchanged over here. So we write 13 into 3 plus 27. Okay, right? My mistake. You will also do this. This is called silly mistake. Kindly avoid that. 7 minus 39 plus 27, 34 minus 39, minus 5 is the answer for this question. Guys, write down the answer in the chat. Write down the answer in the chat. 95, question number 95. Yeah. S is coming here. This is coming here. This is coming here. So obviously, C is definitely not your right answer. Right? Okay. Now, whatever was there, it reached here. It reached here. It reached here. So we will have S over there. Right? We need to have S. This is also correct. Okay. Right? Now, this character came from this. So this character will be here in the next one. So 95. A over here is your correct answer, folks. What do you think about question number 96? What do you guys think about question number 96? Tell me. What do you guys think about question number 96? If I want to think T came over here, O went over there. Okay. But in second to third, O went over here, right? Triangle went over here, N went over here. Okay. Right? Okay. But then third to fourth, again this one went over here and A went over here. Okay. Right? So it will, so 1 to 2 had one pattern, 2 to 3 had one pattern, 3 to 4 had one pattern. So 4 to 5 will follow the same pattern as that of 2 to 3. Yeah? 4 to 5 will follow the same pattern as 2 to 3, right? Okay. So N was here, N came down below. So we will need N over here in the down below. D and A are not your answers for sure. Okay. And then O reached here, so which means A will come in the middle. We have A in the middle over here only. So which means 96. B is your correct answer. 5 girls, A, F, G, R, S. Okay. Right. We have 5 girls, question number 97. 5 girls, A, F, G, R, S. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, F, G, R, S. Right. Okay. A, F, G, R, S are sitting in a straight line. All are facing north. Right. Suchita sits second to the left of Gargi. So I'm saying Gargi is over here. Right. Suchita sit second to the left of Gargi. Just place it. The first one you have to place randomly. Okay. Suchita sits second to the left of Gargi. Faujis sits second to the right of. Faujis sits third to the right of Suchita. Only one girl is sitting between Amita and Ranjita. Amita is not sitting at the corner, okay, in the extreme ends. So Ranjita is sitting over. Which two girls, R and F, are sitting at the extreme ends? Okay, R and F. Okay, 98. C is going to be the correct answer. How about this one? Syllogism type. You know syllogism type instructions. You know, you can read it. All of this. 50% of the windows are branches. 50% of the windows are branches, right? Are benches. Some benches are walls. Okay, right? Some benches are walls. 50% of the walls are bus. Now it is saying all bus, right? In such a situation, you know, all and none, these and all are called extremities. So they are definitely not your right answer. Okay, right? So all bus are benches. Okay, right? That is not your correct answer. A is not your, these two are not your correct answer. At least some buses are benches. Okay, right? At least some buses are benches. Okay, so if I want to draw bus over here, if I draw the bus over here, do we have any problem? Is a possibility. It's a possibility. It's not saying that it has to follow for sure. Right, okay. So 2 follows, right? 2 definitely follows, right? It's not like none of these follows, right? They have declared that it could be a possibility. Yes, it could be a possibility, right? Question number 99. Where is this hidden figure? Where exactly do you find this hidden figure? 3 of you, tell me fast. 4 of you. Guys, feel shy in writing down in the chat. Yeah. Okay. Don't feel shy. Write down. Write down the answer in the chat. Then only I will know that you are writing, you are understanding what I am doing. I don't know. Okay. Right. If you look at this one, you look carefully. Okay. Right. Right. B over here is your correct answer. Okay. Now we reach the last and final question for the day and chapter, for the day and this PYQ. This is the third PYQ in the series. We have also done many more already. Okay. right? We have done many more already. Okay, please go and see in the channel, right? You will find lots and lots of it. Okay, right? So obviously for this one there has to be a line like this. There has to be a line like this, a straight line like this. Okay. Okay. Okay, right? So there has to be a straight line like this. Okay, we don't have any, right? We don't have anything like this over here, right? We will need to complete this one, right? Alone. So A is also not your correct answer, B is also not your correct answer. That is definitely, right? So among C and D, which one do you think is the correct answer? Write down in the chat. This is the 100th question for the day, right? We have done the entire 2025 one of the shifts, right? Okay, right? Now if you look at this curve over here, don't you think because of this curve over here, that the curve that you have over here, right? This C over here is going to be the answer, right? Because you got the curve over here, okay? C is going to be the correct answer for this particular question, folks, okay, right? So I thank so much PW for compiling this question paper that I'm able to solve this in front of you, right? I'll meet you guys on 6th. I do the class by I do the class by 10 p.m. right? And we'll be solving the latest question paper 2026 1, right? So far AFCAT has the lowest amount of cutoff over there, okay, in 2026 1, okay? So please do tune in and please check out the rest of the question papers as well, right? All the teachers are doing one shot, one all that. I don't know what they're doing, okay? But over here alone you will get the PYQs, okay? Live PYQ solving, okay? So please do this before you go and appear for your exams AFCAT on 8th of August, okay? Right? Incidentally, that day is also your Air Force Day, okay? So thank you so much folks for joining. Bye-bye, take care, good night, Jai Hind. I see you guys on 8th, okay? Thank you so much for joining. Bye-bye, take care, good night.